But please do go ahead. You have 3 minutes again on Oman.
Thank you. Thank you. No problem. The first question was regarding why were we focusing only about forced labor. We were doing so because it is not getting the attention that it's needed, especially for the fact that most trafficking in Oman is forced labor. There is also sex trafficking present and organ trafficking. In 2022, Oman convicted 5 traffickers. However, up to now, for the last 5 years, they have not convicted one trafficker related to forced labor, despite that it is being the most common type of trafficking. We have also encountered organ trafficking, but this is a handful of cases. So that's why we actually chose to focus on this type of human trafficking, labor trafficking, because it does need the attention that it's not getting. The next question was about domestic workers and health. And especially related to mental health. Since COVID especially, we have seen how domestic workers are affected by mental health issues. Why that happens, it is because of different reasons, but one of the most evident is that they do not have a day off. So if you can imagine working 24 hours a day on clock and not having a day off, what is going to happen to you mentally and physically? Now, I mention this especially because the women are literally thrown out on the streets and we don't see any investigations happening or anyone being held accountable, including even when it results in death. And we wanted to bring attention to this. This is not the only form of health issues that they are being affected by, but it is one that is important that requires attention. So that's why we wanted to focus on this. Regarding rape, what happens if someone is raped? Of course, this happens most of the time inside the employer's home. When rape happens, the domestic workers is threatened, and because of fear and always having the perpetrator around, they rarely seek any form of redress. The last question regarding release money. Release money is a practice, and we are the first ones to actually name it. After we have named it, it is now appearing in the U.S. State Department tip report because it is essentially paying for someone's freedom. Release money is basically the worker or the family pays a certain amount of money to the employer in order for her to be allowed to terminate or leave the country. Now, the issue, in addition to this, is that also Omani authorities are facilitating this process. There is no law that says anything about how this should be regulated. This is essentially a normalized, widespread practice where every time we engage with employers, they do ask for release money. Now, how did we find out about this information? We work on the ground. We're talking to the women every day. We know what is happening, and we negotiate with the employers ourselves when the domestic workers are feared to do so. And when we negotiate, of course, they will ask for this release money. And again, this release money not only contributes to forced labor, but it's also fueling a business of human trafficking. And I hope I did answer all your questions. Gracias. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much indeed.